and their measures. We start with measures of central tendency. Let's look at central tendency. What are the measures of central tendency? Or what is central tendency all about? Central tendency is just a statistical idea that is in finding average of a data set. We talk about the mean, the median, and the mode of some basic measures. We know that in statistics, normal data requires that you itemize them in a simplest form. Looking at the mean, the mode, and the median, gives a kind of a glimpse of what the data is all about. So we take them one after the other. We'll start with the mean. What is the mean? The mean is the sum of values divided by the total number of the observation. So in statistics, if we have set of observations, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How do we know the mean? The mean is that you plus all those figures, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, and you divided them by the total number, and the total number here is 7. So that simply is the mean. The next is the mode. What is the mode? The mode we describe as the most frequently occurred data in the data set. For instance, if we have some set of data and some occurring more than once, so the question is which of these figures has the most frequently occurrence in that. For instance, if we have set of observations or an event, maybe 1 appearing once, 2 appearing 3 times, 3 appearing twice, and 4 appearing once. What is the mode here? The mode is 2 that appear most frequent in the data. So we look at the median. The median, as the name entails, is the middle number in an ordered data set. For you to get the median of a number, the number must be ordered. The number must be ordered from the lowest to the highest. So the number that appears in the middle becomes the median number. But if the number is an even number, it is easy to get the median. But if it's an even number, it means you plus the 2 middle number and divide them by 2, you get the median number. So these measures of central tendency help to summarize bunch of scores with a single number, as we said. So suppose we want to collect a kind of data. Let's say that in a class we want to know the average height of students in that class. Average height of students in that class. It is very hard for us to start taking them one after the other. So the best way to handle such is to take all the scores of the height of the students and find the mean. So with the mean, the median, or the mode, it is simple for one to easily check the average height of those students. So the best way is to communicate all these value through these simple central tendencies of the mean, as we said. So they help in summarizing the bunch of data with one or just few numbers. So they make this thing easy for us to do. So let us look at the next one, is the measure of dispersion. Dispersion. What is dispersion in statistics? Dispersion tries to tell the spread. How spread is this data? So they include the range, the variance, the standard deviation. So this determines the measurement of what? Central tendency. We start with the range. The range is just the difference between the smallest number and the largest number in a data set. When you take the difference between the smallest and the largest, you are talking of the range. But the variance is just describing the variability of a data. It measures the numbers, how much far the numbers are from the mean. How much far is the numbers from the mean. So, but the standard deviation, in the other way, measure the variations, the spread of a data set from the value, the spread, the dispersion of a set of values. How have these data spread across board? How dispersed are they as a whole? So these measures of dispersion help students to know the spread of scores within a bunch of scores. There are scores really close to or far. Is the numbers close to themselves or are they far from themselves? So measure of dispersion like the range variance standard deviation tell you about the spread of scores in a data set, as we said. So central tendency, they help both of them to summarize data and make it easy to understand. So what are the characteristics of dispersion? So one of the characteristics is that dispersion should be rigid in definition. It should be rigidly defined. Another one is that the dispersion should be easy to calculate and understand. The third one is that dispersion should not be affected by any fluctuation in data observation. Remember in the other class yesterday, we learned about fluctuations, seasonal variations, and structural variations, circular variations in data. So, but dispersion should not be influenced by fluctuation in observation. And again, it is based on all observations. It's based on all observations. So now let us see the classification of measures of dispersion. How do we classify them? We classify them in so many ways. A dispersion could be an absolute measure of dispersion. An absolute measure of dispersion, we try to express the scattering of the observation in terms of the distance. Here, we talk of the range, the quantile deviation. So it expresses the variation in terms of the average of this deviation of observation, like the mean deviation and the standard deviation. The next is the relative measure of dispersion. We use a relative measure of dispersion for comparing distributions of two or more data sets and for unit-free comparison. So here, you compare two observations and compare their unit dispersion. So far in this unit, we've been able to deal with central tendency and no different central tendency measure such as the mean, the mode, and the median. And we've looked at the dispersion, that is the spread of data set, where we talk of the range, the variance, and the standard deviation.